Let's check what she has. This is case number 2627 OD. We are here for a sentencing on a plea taken back on, I believe it was January 25th, maybe? Maybe the 25th, 22nd, maybe. For a plea to operating while intoxicated. I have received a substance use assessment in this case. Have both of you received that as well?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor, and I reviewed it with my client.
Either of you have any additions or corrections?
Minor typo, Your Honor. We had a similar issue earlier today. It says page 1 of 5. There are 6 pages, so correcting accordingly. 1 of 6, 2 of 6, etc., etc.
All right, Mr. Carnes.
I have no additional corrections, Your Honor.
The court on page 2, and the very last paragraph under drug and alcohol use seems to be a duplicative paragraph of paragraph number 1 under that heading. So I believe it'd be appropriate to strike that. Do either of you have any objection?
No, Your
No objections.
The allocution then is presented.
My client isn't going to defend how she acted on bond in this matter, or how she treated court staff, or how she ended up sitting in the jail pending sentencing on the first offense OWI. She recognizes that her behavior was unacceptable. She would like to make a statement of support. But we do believe the court has sent the message and has shown her that this is not a laughing matter. This is something that needs to be taken seriously. She realizes that she is lucky to be alive and that she did not harm anyone else. It's my understanding that her boyfriend was in the car. She reports that if she had somehow harmed him, that would have been unbearable for her, or if she had harmed some innocent person who just happened to be on the road that night. We're asking the court to really focus on, we have a 22-year-old. She is young, we can turn the ship around. So we're asking the court in its order to focus on what is going to reduce the risk going forward. As the substance use assessment reflects, her use of alcohol is less of a concern, but there is still a concern there, and there's a concern with marijuana as well. There's concerns of untreated mental health issues that need to also be addressed, and the report also recommends further mental health treatment and evaluation. We would respectfully request this court allow her out today for time served thus far and put her into an intensive probation program that would assure the community safety, but would also give her the tools, support, structure, and accountability that she's going to need so that this is her one and only encounter with the law in her life, and that we don't see her coming back here time and time again, as we see, unfortunately, many folks who are older. Your Honor, we would just respectfully request that opportunity of probation treatment and to follow the recommendations of the substance use assessment.
Thank you, Mr. Carnes.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is concerning. The defendant rolled her vehicle when she was driving. Blood alcohol level was a 0.135. And then there's the behavior on bond where she allegedly told community corrections she was never gonna quit smoking. I'm not giving up my phone. And somehow community corrections was also aware that she was talking to her boyfriend who left the liquor store with over $200 for their party, and she was failing to appear for drug testing. That is very concerning. But then I recognize the defendant's age here as a factor as well. I am asking for time served, but I'm also asking for 24 months probation, and would not hesitate to ask for 93 days jail if that probation is not successful. Thank you.
Mr. Carnes, what part of Sunnyside Drive did this happen on? Is it out by 115? The only reason I ask is she's making a right-hand turn, so I'm just trying to figure out where this was.
Near South 41 Road.
It's on the curve. Is there any indication in your report as to what the weather was like? The weather? I know we were getting ice sometime that week, but I don't remember when that was.
There is not a description of the road conditions, Your Honor.
And what time of day or night was this?
This was at 10:12 p.m.
All right. Ms. Reese, you have the right to address the court prior to sentencing. Is there anything you'd like me to know?
Yes, Your Honor. I acknowledge my behaviors and my actions remorsefully. I've attended different groups and spoken to different CNA workers while in jail on how to properly address my substance use and how to use healthier ways to cope. This experience has been eye-opening, and I don't ever want to go to jail again. I recognize too that from what I was doing before this, I would have inevitably been in a worse or a similar situation that I'm in now. I want to go to counseling and I want to continue my life for the better. I also would like to say, or I'd also like to ask for forgiveness of the officers of the court for my bad attitude and the foul language that I used after being bonded out. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Reese, how much of the accident do you remember?
Quite a bit.
So were you driving on Sunnyside Drive or were you on 41 Road?
I was on 41 Road. I passed a vehicle that looked dark blue or maybe black, and I was going quite fast at 35, 45. I was slowing down to take a right turn, which I probably should have not. I did notice that the road was covered in snow, and it compact snow. So when I went to take a right turn, the vehicle didn't grip the road, or didn't grip the road. And I did a full 360, I believe, and then a rollover happened.
Were you approaching Sunnyside Drive or were you approaching, because 41 Road kind of has a Y where you can either go straight to Sunnyside Drive or you can take the Y and kind of head back into town?
Yeah, there was a slight curve to the left and then a harder right turn. That's what I was trying to make, a harder right turn. And I don't remember having a seatbelt on. I was told that I didn't. And my significant other apparently grabbed me to make sure that I didn't receive any further harm. I didn't receive anything other than a cut, or I had a pretty big bruise along the left side of my thigh. I took a picture of that a while ago before it started coming. So.
Have you, I know Ms. Ferravento said she went through the assessment with you. Have you had the opportunity to really digest and think about what that assessment discussed?
What I took from it was my upbringing and the drugs that the drugs that I've used in this past time of my life.
So, and it's not often I see this, but I do see it from time to time. And that is that they'll give me a couple disorders that you suffer from. One is the alcohol use disorder, and you tested out moderate for that. So there's a few ways you can test. One is no issue at all. Then there's mild, moderate, and severe. You're 22 and you're already testing at the moderate level, so that's concerning to the court. And if that wasn't enough to be concerned about, you test severe for a cannabis use disorder. And the report says that you were using up to an ounce of marijuana a day. Is that accurate?
I don't know precisely what a pen would do, but I know that's condensed marijuana.
Yeah.
So I would go through about a half a cart a day, and I'd smoke 4 or 5 gram joints, honest, but then there's times where I'd smoke more. And a lot of it, in my opinion, the reason why I smoke so much is because it wasn't the highest quality weed. When I partake with my roommate, we have a higher quality, so I wouldn't have to smoke as much. So I wouldn't say that a full ounce would be accurate, no.
And is the assessment also correct that you started using cannabis at the age of 9
Yes,
and more consistent use at the age of 12?
yes.
When did you start becoming a daily user?
Probably around 12. My parent has influenced a lot of that kind of stuff. I tried it when I was 9 and I was punished for it, but then I used that to my advantage to tell my mother that I did it before, so just let me try it. And she didn't really fuss, she didn't really care. So she just allowed me to sit on the couch with her and we'd smoke and watch movies.
And that your last date of use of the marijuana was back on the day of the accident.
Yes,
And so it's a safe assumption for the court to make that not only did you have alcohol in your system, you also had marijuana in your system.
not that I recall, but yes, I had my pen with me, yes.
Okay,
So
well, you reported that your last use was on the 30th, which was the day of the accident.
Right,
So when would you have used?
probably in the morning, right in the morning, right when I was in the morning, I smoke, I wake up and I smoke, and then I brush my teeth, get ready for the day.
You know, I'll be honest, and this is something that I think every court struggles with, because I sit up here and I'm asked to fashion a sentence for something that I think, one, is going to drive home the point that what you did is not acceptable, and two, to also help you get out of this cycle that you're in. But where the court struggles is I've never used marijuana, so I don't know what at all that feels like. And I'm also old enough that I remember the days when marijuana was illegal. I understand the medical component to it. I don't understand the state making it legal because for recreational purposes. Had this been a few years ago, you had been in an entirely different situation because it had been illegal for you to use. And especially once you had it in your system, Michigan had what was called a per se statute. If you had any amount of marijuana in your system, you were guilty of operating while intoxicated. Now, that's not that way now, and I'm not taking that into account, but I'm just letting you know that for me to sit here and hear you were using up to an ounce of marijuana a day, and that you were using more because the quality wasn't there, that just blows my mind. Because I remember the days, and they weren't that long ago, that if you were going to smoke or use marijuana, you were doing it out where nobody could see it and nobody certainly was smelling it. And now this is all I see and smell all day. I drive downtown and I smell marijuana. I can't go to the store without it reeking. And I'm just letting you know my perspective as to how it's hard for me to sit here and listen to what you're saying. And I'm not discrediting anything you say, because I can read in the assessment, you've got a lot more going on than just the alcohol use and the marijuana use. And then, but when I couple that with your comments about how, and I don't want to get it wrong, so let me, you stated at enrollment, one, that you didn't read the rules, and two, you stated that this is bullshit. I'm not giving up my pot. To hear that from a 22-year-old it just baffles me. I can't wrap my head around that. But I guess that is something I get for being an older person versus the younger generation. So what are your thoughts about being on probation?
If I were to receive that opportunity, I know that I could fully show the court and Your Honor that I don't ever want to smoke again. I don't want to drink again. I don't want to be a Jehovah Witness or something like that. I want to live a life of sobriety. Something that I didn't believe was an option for me a long time. Being in jail helped me realize that I couldn't believe I could last that long. I could last this long without pot. There was a lot of aggravating moments in jail that I didn't even think once about pot. So it was quite spectacular. I don't feel the need to. After that car crash, I didn't hesitate for them to throw away my pen. I felt a certain sense of relief that I didn't recognize I had, that I could have.
How much of it was being used for self-medication?
I would say some. I've had undocumented medical issues. And then for anger, I just felt like I needed it every time I was angry. But being in jail, not having any kind of things like that, writing the Bible helped, because it's opening, it's refreshing for your mind and your soul. So that was something new that I didn't really experience either.
Ms. Viravental said you started working some of the services while you were in jail. How did you find those? I mean, not how did you find them, but how well did you find that they help you, if at all?
The trauma group that I participated in, it felt relieving to hear other people's situations that were similar and way worse than mine. Church helped me speak to people that didn't feel scared or ashamed to talk about God. So.
And I apologize, I don't remember, but were you working with CMH in the jail as well?
Yes.
Okay. Had you worked with CMH before?
No, prior once when I was 12, my mom made me do it and then told me right away I really wasn't somebody that would help. I don't need this. They said I'm okay.
Anything else you'd like me to know?
I'll be accepting whatever, and I do want help. I do want to receive counseling, and outpatient therapy sounds delightful. I would like help to get there though. I've struggled to get the help myself. So. Thank you.
Ms. Reese, I know I said a few things there that I think could be misconstrued, and I want to make sure that you understand that I'm not taking my frustration out on you. I'm just, maybe frustration is not even the right word. But I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with you to make you do the things that you were doing. So please don't take anything that I said as anything negative against you, all right? As I've said a couple times today, in these types of cases, we start with the presumption of no jail and no probation. The defendant has sat 25 days as of today. The majority of that is because of probation violations. And I also have somebody in which there was an accident. There's a cannabis use disorder severe and an alcohol disorder moderate. So I do believe the presumption has been overcome for the probation. As such, I am going to place the defendant on a period of probation for 24 months. Some of that has to do with the substance use issues. The other has to deal with some other underlying mental health issues. And so I want to make sure there's adequate amount of time to hopefully give you the tools to get everything under control and back on track. Ms. Reese, during the period of time that you are on probation, you're not to violate any law. Report is ordered. Not leave the state without the consent of your probation officer, and keep your employment and contact information current. Now, even though I have put you on a period of probation for 24 months, this charge does allow you to be released early. So if you've done everything that we need you to do by the halfway mark, you can be released at that 12-month period. So the length of time that you're on probation is entirely up to you, just so you're aware of that. Now, if something happens that you think you should be released, but your probation officer doesn't think that you should, you can file a petition on your own and we'll have a hearing and I'll make that determination as to whether or not you should be released early. During the time that you are on probation, I want you to attend the alcohol highway safety education class and the victim impact panel. You are not to consume any alcohol. You're not to consume any illegal drugs, including recreational marijuana, and you'll be subject to testing pursuant to the terms of your probation officer. I want you to attend the follow the substance use recommendations, the substance use assessment recommendations. Any counseling that your probation officer feels is appropriate, including counseling for drugs and alcohol. And any additional programming she thinks that you would benefit from. I don't remember, are you currently employed or were you employed before you went to jail? You were working a part-time job, correct?
Yes, at Dollar General and Chase. I don't know yet if I still have that job.
All right. So there will be a $75 crime victims rights fund fee, $50 state minimum fee, $150 fine. I'll waive the court costs. Attorney fees, Ms. Fioravento?
Waive, Your Honor.
We'll waive the attorney fees. I'm only going to charge you for 12 months of probation. So that's $360. If something happens that you end up staying longer than the halfway mark, you'll be required to pay the monthly probation fee. Mr. Carnes, any reimbursements for requested?
Yes, Your Honor, $200 to the Cadillac City Police Department, $100 prosecutor fee.
Ms. Reese, the law does allow the prosecutor and law enforcement in some cases to recoup a portion of their expenses. Drunk driving is happening one of those, so I am ordering $100 reimbursed back to the prosecutor's office and $200 back to the city police department. Because you have set 25 days, you are entitled to $125 back towards your fine. Any balance that remains unpaid for more than 56 days will have a 20% penalty added to that. However, I'm going to waive that penalty while you're on probation. So it's going to be in your best interest to get those fines and costs paid during your probationary period. Do you have any questions for me at all about your sentence today?
Will I be receiving a bill of paper? So I can receive?
So you will receive a copy of your judgment, and that will be broken out in your judgment.
All right, because that was a lot of numbers.
It was a lot of numbers, yes. Any other questions?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. At some point, you're going to be released from the jail today. All right. I don't know if it's probably not going to be before district court probation closes. So I'm going to order that first thing tomorrow morning, the courthouse opens at 8:30. First thing, you are there at the probation office getting signed up for probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, in Cadillac,
Yes, it's to be right downstairs.
84th District Court.
The probation office. Yep, so you'll come in through security. You're gonna stay on the first floor and you'll go down probation hallway. They'll direct you on where you need to go. And they're gonna be the first door, first window on your left as you go into that hallway.
Will I need money to sign up?
Ms. Bismack? No. Ms. Bismack is the probation officer. So she says there's no money to sign up. If you don't show up, more likely than not, there'll be a warrant out for you. Do you understand that?
Yes, I'm aware.
All right. Anything else for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Ms. Reese, very best of luck to you in the future. Court next calls the people of the state of Michigan versus Preston Lee Grames.